Hi, everyone. I hope that you had a good weekend and that changing the clocks for daylight savings time didn't throw you off too much. So I plan to finish grading the visual projects this week. So the last couple of weeks, I've had to give up much of my grading time to work on multiple academic integrity reports because students were using AI on assignments, which is not allowed. So I am required, of course, to report any suspected breaches of academic integrity. And one of our assignments this week will actually be a quiz on citing sources and avoiding plagiarism, which is already on the schedule. But I'll say some more about that in a moment. But I do want to appeal to everyone. Please do not use AI for any reason for our class. If I suspect it, I have to report it. And it is a breach of academic integrity, and a lot of trouble for you and for me. So please just don't do it. All right, so to complete the next module, you will need to do a lot of research, particularly on the writing and communication that is involved in the profession that you've chosen to focus on. You've already started doing some of that research for some of our assignments recently. So the annotated bibliography assignment for Tuesday is meant to help you to make some additional progress on your research. And hopefully you'll be able to find all of the sources that you're going to need for the project. And I always recommend finding more sources than you need. As you'll see in the instructions for the annotated bibliography, at least 2 out of the 6 sources need to be non-website sources. So that might include interviews, sources you find through the Miami University databases, such as their ebooks or academic articles, things like that. So remember to carefully evaluate each source as you choose them, and then include a full citation for each one, either in MLA or APA format. And if your field uses a different citation style that you'd like to use in practice instead, do contact me about that to make sure that that is okay. So the annotations, which also known as just summaries, or annotations of what each source is about and how you plan to use it, should also be included. So you might have the citation followed by the annotation for, like that. So, these annotations will really not only help me to know how, know a little bit more about the sources that you're finding, but also hopefully they'll be helpful for you as well, since it does require you to evaluate each source a little more carefully. And then later on, of course, you can consult those annotations as you work on the project. And of course, all of the details for that assignment are on Canvas. And so while you might find additional resources for your project later, as you begin work on planning and actually writing the project, the more quality sources that you can find right now will save you time later. And if you have any difficulties during the research process, make sure you do let me know. I'm very happy to help you out if you get stuck or would like some help evaluating any of the sources that you're finding. So for Thursday, we have some readings to review that focus on citing sources and avoiding plagiarism. And since our upcoming project will require you to research and use multiple sources, now is a good time to review the proper way to cite sources in your work, not only on a works cited or references page, but also for in-text citations. So remember that in-text citations are necessary whenever you get information from a source, whether you're quoting it or not. So that's one common mistake I've seen before. So in addition, you'll also need to review the academic integrity policy for the class, including the section forbidding the use of AI. Actually, the last couple of years, students using AI has been the primary form of academic dishonesty that I have seen. This, of course, is a more intentional form of academic dishonesty, as opposed to someone who is simply forgetting to cite a source, which can be a form of unintentional plagiarism. But it is important to know how to cite your sources correctly. And so once you review the readings on citing sources and avoiding plagiarism, we will have a 3-question quiz that is due by Thursday night. Also for Thursday, so we have a discussion activity. And so for that, you'll share some of your findings from your research with the rest of the class. And so you'll need to take some time to read through some of your sources. And of course, you'll need to clearly refer to and cite at least 3 of them in the discussion post. So you might also think of Thursday's discussion as an opportunity to really do some early drafting for the project, if you like. So anything that you write for the discussion really could be used later as part of the project, if it fits, if it's appropriate. It might not be, but it could be a good starting place. So, of course, keep that in mind as you work on that discussion. And, of course, remember to respond to at least 2 of your classmates for this discussion, and see the instructions on Canvas for additional details. And next week, we'll be moving on to planning and outlining your project, and then getting started on actually working on it. So I'll share some more details about that later. But if you have any questions as you work on the assignments this week, make sure you do let me know.